Hello everyone, my name is Ankit, and in today's video, we'll be talking about erstwhile East Pakistan. Now, naturally, you'll be curious, why am I calling Bangladesh, which was liberated by India in 1971, as East Pakistan now? And the answer is that because Bangladesh has been acting lately like East Pakistan in quite a few recent months. Now, if you go back in time, back in 1947, you'll realize that Indian subcontinent, after the Britishers left, got divided into two different nations. That was India, as well as Pakistan, which was located both on our western borders as well as on our eastern borders. Now, from 1947 till 1960s, the military as well as bureaucracy of Pakistan was dominated by people belonging to Punjabi-speaking population, primarily residing in the western part of the country. Whereas on the other hand, numerically, majority population of Bengali-speaking people who inhabited areas in the eastern Pakistan were denied the political as well as social rights in the then Pakistan. Now, cognizant of this brewing discontent which was there in eastern Pakistan, India saw a window of opportunity. And using this window of opportunity, India fought war with Pakistan in 1965 and 1971. And after the 1971 war, which led to a decisive Indian victory, we saw emergence of a liberated East Pakistan, which was called as a Bangladesh. Now, the prominent Bengali leader of the time, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, got into power. And since then, we have seen emergence of a newer country on our eastern board, that is Bangladesh. Now, coming back to 2024. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's daughter, that was Sheikh Hasina, was in power for the past 16 years. And it has led to a comfortable relationship between India and Bangladesh. Because Sheikh Hasina of late was seen as someone in power in Bangladesh who had control of Bangladeshi population in general, had the popular mandate, and was also comfortable with protecting India's interest as far as Bangladesh is concerned. So Indian government in a way was quite comfortable with Sheikh Hasina in power. But after 16 years in power, there was this brewing discontent in the society of Bangladesh. Now, this brewing discontent, it led to emergence of a popular protest in Bangladesh. And the culmination of this popular protest in Bangladesh resulted into fleeing of Miss Sheikh Hasina from Bangladesh, and she landed rather in India. So this was what happened up till August 2024. That Sheikh Hasina, she got into a plane and fled the protesting Bangladesh and sought safe refuge in India. Now, since August up till now in December, Sheikh Hasina remains in India. Now, the context of today's discussion is yesterday, Bangladesh made a demand from India by sending a diplomat note verbally, demanding India to extradite Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh for a judicial process. So this brings our attention to the question that can or will India extradite Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh? So there are two arguments on that side. First, can India extradite Sheikh Hasina? The answer to this lies in the legal side of the extradition treaty, which was signed between India and Bangladesh back in 2013. And the second part of the discussion, that will India extradite Sheikh Hasina, lies in the political compulsion of New Delhi and whether or not it sees extradition of Sheikh Hasina to Bangladesh as a beneficial affair as far as India is concerned. So that is a political side of the argument. So let us first start the legal arguments regarding whether extradition of Sheikh Hasina is possible from India's side or not. And the answer to this question lies in the extradition treaty which was signed between India and Bangladesh back in 2013. Now, this original treaty was amended in the year 2016 to make the process of extradition quicker and easier for both of the governments. As earlier, this process of extradition required for a country to provide evidences. However, this was done away with, as now the extradition can also be requested in the case if an arrest warrant has been issued by a competent court of law in either of the two nations. And as there is an arrest warrant currently in place for Sheikh Hasina's arrest, it has provided the Bangladesh a solid ground to demand extradition of Sheikh Hasina from India. Now coming back to, will India accede to this demand or not? And the answer to this lie in the caveats of the extradition treaty. Because you can understand, not every demand coming from Bangladesh is liable or legally binding on India. Now, India can say that the offenses that you have put on Sheikh Hasina is political in nature, and hence India in that case will not be liable to extradite Sheikh Hasina. But there's an interesting catch to it. Because as you can see from this slide, there are certain crimes which are excluded from the category of it being called as a crimes of political in nature, which include murder, enforced disappearances, as well as conduction of torture. Because these are crimes against humanity, and hence they cannot be called crimes of political in nature. And hence these kind of crimes, if it is there on Sheikh Hasina, and this has been there on Sheikh Hasina, that is why these kind of grounds cannot be cited by India as an exemption from extradition treaty. Further, if the accusation made by Bangladesh is not made in good faith or in interest of justice, then also India can deny the extradition request of Bangladesh. Whereas crimes which have been committed or are called crimes of military offenses, which otherwise are not called as a criminal offense under general law, can also be seen as a reason for exemption from these extradition laws. Understood? So we understood the legal side of the extradition treaty. That is, or will India be able to extradite Sheikh Hasina citing the legal circumstances? The answer is yes, it is possible for India to extradite Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh. Now this was the legal ground. Now let us understand the political context which may or may not enable India to extradite Sheikh Hasina. Now, back in last 16 years, when Sheikh Hasina was in power, she was seen quite favorably by the governments in New Delhi. Earlier, when UPA was in power and was headed by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, and from 2014 onwards, when it became headed by NDA-led government, that is by Prime Minister Modi, both of these governments have seen Sheikh Hasina in a favorable manner. That they understand that Sheikh Hasina, she wants to protect interest of Bangladeshi citizen, but that should not come at a cost of protecting or going against the interest of India. Now she has, she has provided extradition of militants who were hidden in Bangladesh back to India. She has given ways of Indian companies to invest in Bangladesh. She has acceded or agreed to establish a nuclear power plant, which India is setting up in collaboration with Russia. So these are the examples where India's national security interest, India's economic interest, India's territorial interest were seen favorably by Sheikh Hasina government, and as a result, Sheikh Hasina enjoyed a very comfortable relationship with New Delhi. So this was the context that when Sheikh Hasina was in power, New Delhi was comfortable with her. Now, from August 2024 onwards, when Sheikh Hasina was forced to flee Bangladesh and a new caretaker government was established, we have seen that Bangladesh is witnessing huge protests, and these protests have also culminated into violence, particularly against the minority community. Now, the Bangladeshi security agencies, they have not been able to control these protests, and as a result, these protests and violence that have emerged from these protests have resulted into death, prosecution of minority communities in Bangladesh. The most prominent minority community which is facing the brunt of this violence is the Hindu community. As we have seen, temples belonging to Hindus were destroyed and vandalized. Monks belonging to popular organizations like Radhe Krishna, they were arrested. An ISKCON priest was forced to not flee to India. These are the examples of violence that have emerged against the Hindu community. Also, the other sections of Bangladeshi society, such as Christians, Buddhists, they've also faced violence because of the policies and the inability of the Bangladeshi security forces to control these popular protests. Now, as we have seen that the Hindus, they've consolidated in Bangladesh and they're demanding that Bangladeshi government needs to protect the interest of Hindus, and this is a result why we need to not extradite the Sheikh Hasina. Because favorably, although she might have considered some corrupt activities, but Sheikh Hasina in power brought New Delhi in a comfortable position. That is, she ensured the protection of minorities in Bangladesh. She ensured that India's national security and economic interests were taken care of. And hence, politically, New Delhi will not want to extradite Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh. Understood? So this was the entire crux that we understood. Is India eligible to extradite Sheikh Hasina? The answer to this is yes. But will India actually extradite Sheikh Hasina back to Bangladesh? The answer to that is probably no. So this was all for today's discussion on Bangladeshi crisis and how Bangladeshi government has demanded extradition of Sheikh Hasina from India. So stay tuned to our channel for more such quick updates.